Mathematical equations are essential in physics. It is my belief that this dependence results from treating time as one-sided. As soon as you introduce two-sided time, coming with an undeclared middle term, the science becomes more qualitative. However, with my endorsement of two-sided time, there is no abandonment of quantitative mathematics. The quantitative remains important to characterize one of the sides of time, leaving the other side well described by the reflection of time. Nevertheless, the middle term is beyond the declared law, and therefore it remains qualitative. However, it's important to note that seeking the pure mathematical theory of everything leads not only to complexity, but to a theory that does not describe the universe or reality. Clatu Baronicto. So it's important to see precisely how the qualitative is hiding inside of mathematics. It's hiding wherever you find the equals that signifies the equation, the equals that represents the verb is. The equation pretends to be a tight mathematical identity that says that the right-hand side equals the left-hand side of the equation. Oddly, it depends on what the meaning of the word is, quoting a former president. Therefore, the equation is actually an equivocation, which in general is recognized as a possible error in logic by philosophers. It can only be that the equation comes with fidelity that indicates that the right-hand side is held closely to the left-hand side, faithfully by the powers that be. So if this fidelity is high enough, the mathematical equation, or law, can be taken literally. However, in general it's the middle term that joins the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and this middle term is beyond the stated law. Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared, is a good example of an equation that carries a middle term that is beyond the literalism of mathematics. This equation also implies a particle-wave duality which is precisely indicative of two-sided time. We note that mass is a measure associated with particles, and waves are characterized by their energy. By a two-sided time reality, I am specifically describing the CPT symmetric universe which comes with a CPT inversion describing two sides. On one side, we have the normal arrow of time pointing in the direction where the universe is found expanding and where entropy increases. The alternative side of time is where gravity waves pull context into the past. Now I am speaking of a generalized gravity here, not just the gravity of general relativity that describes the movement of celestial bodies, or of the expanding universe, or of dark matter, or of quantum gravity, but all types of gravity that come into play to push the world forward into the future on the other side. Remember, gravity pulls context into the past, thereby forcing contents into the future. The generalized gravity would include potential quantum gravity involving conscious choice, and how we direct ourselves, and how we express our volition as the future unfolds. It is enough for this generalized gravity to pull context into the past, centering and balancing reality, to force the mathematical equations to map out a direction in the future which is determined from the past, notwithstanding the indeterminacy represented by the middle term. This gravitational arrow of time, which points in the reverse direction of time, thus carries the more correct meaning of time given by its reflection. I am stipulating that gravity belongs to the ontological class called memory. Gravity projects the memory of how mass behaved in the past, and going into the past we find mass being pulled together and space collapsing. It's this memory that gets projected as context in the present moment, or as a possibility wave that warps space as the memory echoes up from the past. There is also an equation that has mostly a qualitative character, that metaphysics equals cosmology. Here strict mathematical complexity offers nothing. Rather, it's a realization that mind is equally two-sided, as is cosmology. With this realization comes the understanding that mind must necessarily mirror the universe, if the universe is going to be intelligible, if mind can describe the universe with its great complexity and simplicity, otherwise the effort to describe the universe is a fool's errand from the start. Despite the claims that the universe is meaningless, scientists look for meaning in the universe by attempting to describe it with great effort, so the effort is not hopeless. The effort cannot be hopeless, and in the limit it must be that the mind reflects the universe with perfect precision, granting a middle term to represent those qualities that are still beyond us. And so we expect the mind be equally two-sided, and coming with a middle term. And indeed, we find on one side the masculine and on the other side the feminine, representing the left brain and right brain hemispheres, respectively. We find the left side better suited for deductive thinking and sequential processing, more instrumental and can build things and plan ahead, and a side that befriends determinism so that mind can become an emotive conduit of causation that builds a better future. On the reflective right side of mind, we find inductive thinking, an ability to generalize, to think holistically, and to befriend habits that are better replayed like good songs that are never forgotten. Therefore, there's an easy way to describe the universe, which is to first describe the mind and follow the esoteric tradition that enters by way of the Akashic library. The mind being two-sided, it must be therefore centered, and it's always emotion that is centermost and must be first tamed and taught to center itself. Like the universe, one side of the mind is being pulled into the past and can only offer memory echoes in the form of waves in the present moment, and learns to possess great compassion given all the ancestors that are left in the past. That leaves the other side of mind to be pushed into the future, to become a conduit of determinism and emotion that shows great passion in what it seeks. The center of the universe is where you find the center of mind, where emotion is found centered and representing the middle term holding all that is dear to the people of Earth together.